Ladies and gentlemen, how you all doing? This is Con Orc coming to you with another game of Steel Division Normandy 44. Today's map is going to be Collevile and spawning down here in the south. Playing as the 15th Scots, it's going to be, excuse me, Clermont Vaults and his companion playing the 3rd Armor, Albulkan. Now, I'm sure I'm saying that incorrectly, but you know what, bear with me. Let's tone up the sound a little bit here. Meanwhile, on the opposite sides of them, okay, spawning over here right now anyway, on the right of the German position, it of course is going to be McCall playing as the 21st Panzer and his ally AJ playing as the Panzer Lehr division. Now, with Colleville, you can expect to see a fair amount of house-town play, so expect to see a lot of concentration around this particular area here. But the Scots seem to be just pouring onto the battlefield already. You're going to see just tons and tons of infantry starting on up, and that's not surprising considering that the Scotch are technically an infantry division. Excuse me. Sorry guys, I woke up 10 minutes ago, and the first thing I thought of, let's go and record some. Alrighty though, so in the meantime, the 3rd Armored bringing in a couple of anti-tank guns, some recon. Not really surprising, all things considered. Now on the opposite side, we will see the Panzer Lehr division. We'll be stacking up on top of this road, lots of infantry, a couple of Pumas to kind of run recon and be a little bit harder kind of fire support. And a Collevile in the back with a nice little anti-tank gun. Not anything too large, of course. It is still going to be Phase A in this particular game. And in the meantime, on his right-hand side, we have lots and lots of infantry. Have these guys already picked where they're going to go? No, it's not showing me that just yet. We are going to see a fair amount of material as we move forward. Scott's incredible amount of material right here. Right now, just take a quick look. A lot of supporting equipment, as well as a Honey Stewart to back them all up. Americans, not so much, really just put yet onto the map. We do the stuff in the extreme right, but for the most part, kind of a very, you know, not soft opening, but a very kind of relaxed opening, I would say. There's no tanks coming in immediately, just infantry, anti-tank guns, a little bit of recon. Now, guys, I do want to say, before this game really gets started, is, you know, I say this all the time, but this stuff, what I do here, making videos for you guys, first of all, I hope you enjoy it as much as I like making it. Here's this Clermont Vaults trying to lock down this forested area, being able to kind of be a great defensive link-up position between the two fronts. I love making this material for you guys, and I really hope you guys love watching it as much as I do. You guys see just some more messages coming on, and I don't get paid to do this. It's completely free for me. I will hopefully never have ads on my channel. At least that's the hope. That's the intent. But I don't know, just thank you guys so much. Me doing this, I prefer to do this more than anything else. If I could do this full time, I definitely would. This, and actually I write on the side as well. But that's neither here nor there. Let's hopefully get to the game in just a second. As it seems the players are working out their strategy, and the 3rd Armored is still going kind of heavy vehicle-less. McCall, in the meantime, expects to have this particular area under his control, and I guess that's a decent position, more or less. It is not particularly advanced in the kind of 50-50 line. And honestly, I'd like to see something like maybe an anti-tank gun posted around in this area, but I think he's sticking that Collevile right around here. Won't be too bad to control these fields here, but as you can see, obviously it's a very, very condensed viewing to the anti-tank guns front left, our slight right at this point. Let me speed this up a tiny bit more when we get into that fight any second now. Yeah, the Scotch are going all out, my friends. Okay, there we go. So we are up and running. A very, very expected breakout. Machine gun, anti-tank, and recon going off to the left-hand side. Of course, infantry rushing to the town. Let's actually slow this down just a second so we can kind of get a better idea of where we are with the breakouts here. But in the meantime, this material right here, a machine gun, anti-tank gun, Humber, and recon, excuse me, not Humber, Dingo, my bad. Dingo shifting on forwards as well. And over on the right-hand side, the 3rd Armor is going to be rushing onto the 4, trying to get past this town, and will succeed in doing so pretty darn easily. Now, the Germans will try to get in behind them, but expect to see a lot of this material getting taken on out, since the half-tracks with their anti-tank guns are going to be in a position so much faster, it seems. Now, what about the 21st Panzer? They have a lot of light vehicles, have not really chosen to use a whole lot of them. We are going to see at least one tank coming on in. And where is he headed off to? Gotta find him within all of this mess. The 35S, where's he going? Right into the center of town. So that might prove rather, how do we put this, unhealthy, because this Honey Steward's going to be there as well. And this guy's got a pretty good gun, and neither guy is really that well armored. So maybe it'll probably be a case of who gets to fire first. Just being down that center line, what about that Steward? The Steward's going to be on that center line just a hair before he is. Oh no, never mind, he's being shifted off to the left-hand side. Alright, I'm going to speed this back up for the moment now. And Puma's going to be locked down into this road. They're going to get slaughtered being so close over here. Really question who can pin down that infantry first. Fuel explosion. There's the 57mm going to go and pop off one of those Pumas. Terribly bad. Kupovagan getting hit just before, after dumping off of his troops. Half track goes down. It's going to be a very big bloody mess. You see a lot of vehicles going down early on, I would imagine. Okay, gonna get a slight stalemate there. What about over here on the left-hand side? So the Steward has gotten himself staying onto this main road. He's just trying to get a line of sight onto that Panzer. But the first guy to get a line of sight on his opponent, I think, might win that fight. And the firefight's kicking off in earnest. We are seeing a 50-50 split. The Allies managed to picking up about 50 tickets, but not that much at the end of it all. And I love just watching all the tracers going in every which direction here. So the Steward might get a shot off first. No, never mind. He's going to back away in time. And this Panzer is really not in the best position either. He's going to be showing his flank to this Steward, so expect to see some death there. This half-track tried cheating on forwards, but there was still, between machine guns and all this other material, 57mm was the one to take him on out. It's a little bit of a stalemate. We're going to see the Allies pushing a little bit more, getting 51 to 49. Probably a consequence of losing that half-track over there. And somehow managing to sneak this Panzer through the firing arc of that Steward. Though I think now that might be continuing to be a little more unhealthy. 6-pounder is there. Those anti-tank guns for the Scotch are fairly good early on. I mean, indeed, the 6-pounder was kind of a surprise to many light tanks, at least for Rommel, for example, in the desert. Kind of a harsh mistress, more or less. And that happens up again here. This 35S is taken on down by the 6-pounder, and the 21st is bringing in another tank to kind of curve around the Scotch left. On the right for the Allies, it's getting worse and worse for the Panzer Lehr division. Getting pushed back further and further. Not seeing a whole lot of light vehicles coming out of the 3rd Armored just yet. We are seeing an M20 command car coming on in, and that's going to be pretty good to get some veterancy up on the map. Yes, we already have an army leader here, but would not be bad to have some more just in case. Now, interestingly, you would not expect the 3rd Armored to have such a strong start. I mean, they are rather undersupplied as things move forward, but the Panzer Lehr division is not really that terrible in Phase A. I mean, it should be fairly strong, a fairly good opening. I think part of it kind of is definitely a result. Some decent placement by these 57mm. You'll see this poor half-tracks of Kupovagens will be taken on out. 3, 2, 1. Bailing out already, so that half-track is completely and totally wrecked. It's going to be even more wrecked in a moment. There's another 57mm concentrating and covering over here on this right-hand side. You see one of those half-tracks has gone down. An ammo explosion again. It would really be a great opportunity here to put AJ having some mortar half-tracks or something, some indirect fire, just to pour it down. Instead, we will see this Pack 38 is going to kind of bravely try to hold the line, taking out some half-tracks here and there, blowing up one, causing another one to bail on out. But it's the infantry that just cannot seem to be dealt with on the American side. Indeed, you can see another half-track dying as well. First aircraft coming on in. Where's the Spitfire going? Now he's going right down the main line here, dropping bombs, probably going after that Pack 38. Gonna force it to fall back, but not before one of the Stewards does lose it. But Honey still has, Vault still has a couple of Stewards moving on in. This one right here should be able to get some good fire onto this infantry at least. Instead, focusing on these half-tracks. With all machine gun fire, a little bit underwhelming. Kind of thought he was going to be firing his main cannon here. There we go. pins down the infantry, blows up the half-track, some good destruction. Now these 250s could have been pretty darn good against some of this vehicle play. I mean, the only half-tracks, they could have taken a lot of cannon fire here. It would have been pretty darn good. Unfortunately, these rifles, the Zooks, the 57mm are going to continue just to dominate this battle space. You can see the second that one of these guys peaks into any kind of field of fire for these anti-tank guns, is just going to be very, very poor. Mikel as well kind of suffering over here on the left-hand side. The Allies having a good push to take out both the German openings. And in fact, I think the German openings have been stymied by the fact that they haven't gone for a little bit more indirect fire, and instead depending so much on these super light half-tracks. Now we are seeing a Wiederfachwerfer, which will be kind of fun. And this guy, of course, 1,000 meter range, and it's got a very hefty damage with his rockets. The question is, where is he going to be firing? And I want to make sure I can see that first barrage, so I try to keep an eye down here. At the same time, checking over here on the left-hand side for the Panzer Lehr. They are forcing back half-tracks here and there. But now there's a Stuart on the field, and this guy is going to get some good damage done against his infantry, pinning them down for absolutely nothing else. And there we go, one getting pinned down already. These Panzer Grenadiers running low on ammunition. This half-track almost in position. So 1,000 meters from there, are seeing one of the Humbers going on down. She's firing for the center part of town. Let's see how well this goes. I don't know if that really is going to be fantastic positioning. But that's the thing about the heavy indirect fire of those rockets. It can be amazing, or it can be complete shite, so to speak. And indeed, right now we're seeing a lot of experience of it being kind of complete shite. Mostly because I think it was a very poorly placed rocket barrage. I would have aimed back over here. Unfortunately, he's trying to go and take out that HMG, and it's not going to be easily done with indirect fire being targeted back here. But, you know, them's the breaks. A 2-inch carrier coming on out from the Scotch. And that'll be pretty beastly, I would say, dropping mortar rounds in return. But all things considered, I would have to call both flanks easily in favor of the Allies. What's more, we will see that these rifles are shifting on forwards. Might be able to cut off one of these resupply areas for the Germans. As you can see right now, the 3rd Armored is just kind of rolling on through the Panzer Lehr division. Pretty simply over here on the right flank. Stuart just can't be stopped. There's just very little over here that's going to be able to push this back. This Pak 38 very much out of position. He needs to be up, at the very least, on the corner of this forest here, and frankly, it would have been better for him to have posted himself over here on or near the road. Another Wiederfachwerfer coming on up, and I don't know if that's really the easiest place for him to be either, but we'll see how this goes. Scotch, in the meantime, continue to consolidate their position, bringing on some Zooks, some more infantry, and some more recon. Good idea there. And I might be wrong, but I'm kind of hoping that they're trying to consolidate their position, excuse me, in the center part of the map. Now, unfortunately for them, this Pak 38 may not be great for taking out that Stuart, but he's wonderful, as you can see, for taking out this reinforcement line along this arterial. And he does so with a great bit of glee. But we are seeing a bit of a stalemate, I would say, over here on the eastern flank as we're looking at the map. Vehicles come forwards and they get taken on out. AJ bringing in his own Panzerwerfer. And once he brings that in, I'm kind of concerned about where the first barrage is going to go. It can be brilliant, or it could be awful. He's aiming right now. Alright, so I think we're looking for the center part of the town here. If nothing else, he might be able to use this to force back the Stuart. No, he's going to just pound the center part of town. Great idea there. 10 rockets coming on out. Takes out one infantry squad. Will it be able to take out anything else with it? No, and indeed this Pak 38 gets finally destroyed. That bugbear over there just really doing a great amount of damage. But the entire German left is gone. Barely any crumbs left. Holding out a little bit better over here on the right-hand side, but then again, there's a lot of indirect fire to really utilize against this British, well, Scotch, more accurately, material. Problem with that is that the Scotch have themselves a nice base of fire. And now with Phase B coming on, we are going to see some more heavy tanks coming on in. Command Churchill as well. As I was hoping to actually see some immediate Shermans, but not going to see that from 3rd Armored. Now these rifles are nice and close over here to this 250. Reloading with their Zooks, able to take him on out. So yep, the German left is completely collapsing. I don't know if this Beuther Shermans are even going to be able to reverse the current status of the German lines. My guess is no. Not going to be easy, nothing else. Wiederfachwerfer is finally able to take out some infantry in front of it, but this Vickers MG is still holding strong. And as of right now, we are seeing 625-0 right now in favor of the Allies. I'm expecting even to see the complete collapse of the German army. I'm not going to call it just yet, but I don't know how they're going to be able to turn this one around. Meantime, more infantry coming on in as well, and the Panzer Lehr, I would like to see the Panzer Lehr perhaps try to move along this arterial to come in and behind 3rd Armored position. Get to the soft underbelly. Take a quick look though at what AJ sees. AJ doesn't see jack. He sees literally nothing. Panzer Lehr is going to take some blind shots here, not going to be the best idea. Probably going for the center part of town yet again. And this command steward just going to come on in and very, very simply take out this retreating half-track. Poor guy. Now, looking over here what Mikhail sees, Mikhail doesn't see anything either, and that's a shame. How about Abruzken? He's got some good vision on the right-hand side. Doesn't see anything from the Panzer Lehr division, mostly because there's nothing extant on the map. And he is finally bringing in some Shermans. His allies sees a fair bit as well, but still not seeing a credible positioning of their opponent's troops. Then again, he doesn't really need to. He's got these 6-pounders, he's got all these tanks rolling on in. Now he's got another gun run by the Spitfire going after these half-tracks in the middle part of the road. The 307 with the pack on top of it, yeah, he's probably going to go down. Falling back, another bomb explodes just over him, freaking him out even more. Another machine gun's coming on in, so good idea there. Wiederfachwerfer looking to find the 6-pounder, but not quite targeting the correct area. Rockets falling all around the position, anywhere really but where it's supposed to. Another Wiederfachwerfer barrage finally takes out the HMG in the middle part of the town and is pounding the infantry, but neither Deutsche player, or Deutsche Spieler, is really able to reverse the momentum of this game. I want to say it was probably lost pretty quickly when the Allies created a loose link-up point, and the Germans, well, they did not. Koenigsegg coming on in. He might be able to get some good action, but there's still 57 millimeters. There are still, well, Shermans coming on in. And the fact that we have command Shermans, command stewards giving some veterancy over here to everyone around them. More infantry shifting on in to consolidate the position against the Germans and actually to preserve the link-up with the Scots. Only thing I think I might be happier seeing is if 57 going down is to see a more I'm not gonna say consolidated push, but a more consistent Team E push shifting on forwards. We'll see that the mortar half-track though is going to pour some good fire, some great fire. Look at that. First round coming on in does blow apart half of that anti-tank squad. Pins down the rest of the second round. And for some reason we're seeing an Opel Blitz coming on in, just for the Panzerwaffe. Panzerwaffe's not been accomplishing that much, but hey, if that's what he thinks is going to get him back into this game, why not? 2 Panther Force coming on out for Mikhail. But he still has these Beuther Shermans. I'm not sure why he's not trying to roll up some pressure with these. Command Churchill has some great line of sight of this retreating half-tracks, as well as some of this infantry. He's going to back away. Not really sure why he's doing that. Doesn't have a whole lot to worry about. Both Wiederfachwerfers are completely Winchester and ammunition. This Boyd Sherman over here on the German right is able to press on in, might be able to take on an MG carrier or two, but that's small potatoes, my friends. That's one right there. This Honey Stewart's backing up. He's completely out of ammo. Bedford supply truck, I'm not sure he's going to be able to reach him with that deployment. He's, in fact, shifting around. We're going to ignore the right flank for right now, the Allied right, mostly because it seems to be well in hand for the Allies. Indeed, we're going to watch this Crocodile shifting on forwards. And the Boyd Shermans and the P4s, well, this could be kind of interesting. Oof, there goes the Command Churchill. Panzer IV already making his presence felt by completely devastating that poor tank. Now, this 2-inch carrier, he might go down pretty quickly as well, but the Boyd Sherman is going to shift his fire over against this Crocodile, I should think. No, he's going to go after the 2-inch carrier instead, so that blows up. And shockingly, the Sherman doesn't quite see the Crocodile just yet. The Crocodile doesn't quite see the Sherman either, so that's kind of interesting there. P4s, in the meantime, shifting up, might be able to get some good shots down on this infantry. He's got to know that this immediate material right here does not see, doesn't have any anti-tank capability. However, this 25-pounder is picking up where this other mortar half-track left off. They're both looking to take out this Pak-38. And really, that's been the only thing that's kept the Germans linked up this entire game, and now that is gone, so watch this entire area just completely and totally collapse. Back up to +2 in favor of Les Américains and the Brits. Koenigsegg over here going to be able to just beat on these rifles for good reason, of course. The 3rd Armored, I don't see... Where are those Shermans? I'm guessing the Koenigsegg was actually able to get some good damage down against these Shermans. And indeed, yes, there is a carcass or two. We're not quite sure, perhaps, of the reasoning behind that death. 76mm is going to pour some good fire into the Koenigsegg. Has some great armor penetration. Now, the problem with that is that the Koenigsegg is super armored. 21 armor to 14 AP. Going to be a little bit of time before the 76mm is able to penetrate that kind of armor. Then again, just kind of throwing rounds off his front glacis will eventually stress him on out, but he's got to be able to survive the levied firepower in return first. And I almost want to see this Koenigsegg being able to hold everything together, but no, he's falling back right now. So the Panzer Lehr was doing a little bit better on the backs of the Koenigsegg, but that is now falling apart. And I'm seeing multiple indirect fire positions. 25-pounders are dropping rounds down like crazy. This Honey Stewart is finally resupplied. And the P4 that was over here seems to have gone down, which is kind of a shame. Excuse me, not P4. Boyd the Sherman. Yes, he went down right about here. P-up perhaps was the reasoning behind that one, or the 6-pounder. The 6-pounder is always a good anti-tank gun. Although, again, I will also note, like I said before, I will beat on the 6-pounder as being super light and an ineffective material. But, that's kind of not really a fair comparison. Back during the war in North Africa, it was really great against all the light vehicles that Rommel had. And what's more, by the time it was really being used over in Europe itself, a lot of the material it was being used against was either super heavily armed and armored, or just it was being kind of used out of its role. Half-track push gets shot to pieces. Thank you so much, P4s and captured Shermans. And they're going to fall on back. In the meantime as well, we're also going to see this Panzerwaffe has been able to get some good HE down over on these rifles and engineers from the 3rd Armored. However, they don't have to be too concerned about that since they still control 61% of the map. They're well on their way to winning this game. Waffes throwing down a ton of firepower in the middle part of the town, though. Also, I think this should have been where they put their initial barrages. Screw the MG, pound the infantry right here, and he should be able to push on in. The problem with this is that he's not pushing in with any sort of actual attack, instead just depending on his indirect fire to kind of clear the way, and that's just not going to work. Crocodile coming on in, trying to find a way to see these tormentors, it seems. and not going to be able to find it. We have been in Phase C for a fair bit of time as well. Also seeing a Crocodile pouring onto the field. Any more heavier Shermans? Well, M4A3s now. So these are upgun Shermans. Pretty good armor penetration, and with the Panzer Lehr having nothing to do, that ain't gonna be pretty for AJ's men. But alright, in the meantime, Sherman Pioneers threatening to get across this field. Not going to be particularly easy for them. Both of the rifles, as well as this Honey Stewart just kind of chilling over here behind these trees. If he shifts up even just a little bit, he should be able to get at least to cut off a good portion of this orchard, and you can see that right there. Holding a little bit as it is, but the Sherman Pioneers might not be able to get in too easily here. Of course, if they get close enough to utilize that flamethrower, poor guy's get pinned down instead, falling back. Now this Sherman Pioneer is going to come on in, and he's going to cut to pieces if this Honey sees him at all. Honey instead not firing, giving him a chance to run. It's very kind of him. Very kind of him indeed. More 25-pounders spread nice and wide, all pouring fire upon this. Looks like there's a major intersection right there. Yep, 1, 2, and 3. Spitfire as well coming in with these, what, 110 kilogram bombs? Yep. So 250-pound bombs coming in. There goes one of those P4s, and that's a shame, because that was pretty much a linchpin in Mikhail's position. And indeed, you are seeing his earlier kind of stronger position is really pretty much falling apart. Spitfire is going after the 307 pack. Blows that up as well. So one by one, air power is being utilized perfectly to take these guys on out. And now it's +3, so within 3 minutes we will see the Allies pick up that victory. Another Königstiger coming on in, this Panzergrenadier Diaz as well, using the last Panzerfaust to take out that Stuart. But it's just a drop in the bucket, my friends, just a drop in the bucket. Air run coming in, P-38 Lightning with his own bombs, looking to smoke out this P-Grens, and indeed I think we'll pretty much be able to do so. Yep, 2 bombs come in, blow that squad to pieces. Those brave, brave amateurs perishing. Panzerwaffe does take out one of these rifle squads. That's pretty darn good, except that there's nothing really left to fight from the Panzer Lehr position here. Lightning keeps coming in and around. He's going to start falling back as we speak. P4s and Königstigas coming in, but these guys are way, way too late, and it should have been called in a little bit of time ago instead of wasting time, I would say, with 304s and 307s. It should have been bringing in more tanks to maybe shift around this left-hand flank, shift down this main arterial, something, anything, really. Concentrating some firepower against the 17-pounder. Yes, he's got 1200 range, and that's pretty darn beastly. But taking out your opponent's ability to destroy your vehicles would have been so much better for Mikhail and AJ. And indeed, you can see this Honey Stewart now has free range. He's going to start picking off half-tracks one after the other here. Shockingly, he's not going after the half-track, he's going after the Sherman Pioneers. Alrighty, interesting decision there. Pinned down, surprised they're not going to get captured immediately. In fact, I'm surprised there's also really no infantry shifting on in to continue this particular pressure. And it looks like it's going to be a complete and total whitewash, 2,500 to nothing in favor of the Allies. Pretty much mishandled the game all around by the Axis on this one. The Panzer Lehr division did not seek any sort of link up, didn't try to use any sort of mobility that they do have to swing around their opponent's flanks, just really depending on a couple of AT guns to hold down the line. Spitfire coming in, one final bomb run. He's going after the Königstiger. It's not going to work. It is not going to work. HE rounds. These are not super heavy material. That's not going to be enough. Stress him out, though. But folks, thank you so much for tuning in. That's going to be a complete whitewash. Congratulations to Clermont Volz and Abruken, his ally, and to both the Scotch and to the 3rd Armor. That was a much easier victory than I expected it to be. Mikhail and AJ not showing a lot of teamwork between the two of them, and indeed, if you want to look at the team's scores, you can kind of see that right here and right now. 1950 to 750, 1740 to 1060, and kind of humorously, it's always kind of funny for me that neither player is really responsible for all of the kills or losses. You can see actually there's some losses that have not lining up between the two, I don't think. Taking a quick look over here, Honey Stewart doing an incredible amount of damage. That was Bushby. That was over on the left-hand side, picking off half-track after half-track. 6-pounder doing some good work as well, taking out the Butte, Boyd the Sherman. Just going to go to Butte for a second. Crocodile as well, claiming its fair share. And really, the Scots, despite being a infantry division, get tons of kills with their vehicles. But alrighty, folks, that's going to be enough for me today. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Conor signing off. Have a great day, everyone.